What is up, guys? 10 Vivman here bringing another battle. This is another UU game I had of a person off Smogon by the name of Miagimoto. And my god, this UU team I have here is probably my new favorite. It just has so much good defensive and offensive synergy. And he's got a pretty standardish UU team. Everything's UU. Smagius, Heracross, Nidoking, Blastoise, Cavalier, and Houndoom. I don't see Houndoom that often, and I think that's gonna give me some problems just because a lot of my stronger hitters have fire moves, and that can come in and easily receive a flash fire boost. But judging from the rest of his team, I really think that Darmanitan is probably my best bet to lead with, so I lead with that, and we'll get this battle underway. He actually leads off with Miss Magius here, and I really didn't know what to expect. I'm guessing he could have maybe taunted or done some other weird shenanigans when he set up a sub, but he doesn't want to take a Flare Blitz in the face, so he wisely switches out, not wanting to overpredict first turn. He goes into his Blastoise. I predict that. I go for the U-turn, which is great on its own. So, and that U-turn is a crit. Didn't really matter at all, but, it's crit's a crit, and you can complain about that a lot anyway. But, I U-turn out into my Zapdos, wanting to scare him out. He does not want to take a Thunderbolt. I know that for sure. I'm a Life Orb Zapdos, and, after he gets his leftovers, since I know he has that Nidoking, I know that he'll probably switch out into it. So, I predict the Nidoking to come in, and guess what? Hidden Power Ice. That is how you do it. That is how you do prediction, which is just amazing. Hidden Power Ice is nearly going to take it out, which is great. And, I was kind of worried that he was Scarf, but I was pretty confident I could take at least one Ice Beam, so I just, I wanted this thing dead. Down it goes. No problem. 2 Hidden Power Ices. Zapdos, yeah, you got this. No problem. So down Nidoking goes, and that's a huge threat out of the way very early on. And now he goes into his Heracross, and just judging from the way he brought it in, I have a feeling it's Scarfed. I gotta switch out here. I go into my Dusclops, wanting to absorb a Stone Edge. He could have predicted that, maybe gone for the Close Comet or Mega Horn, which is why Dusclops I felt was the best switch into it. He does not overpredict. He goes straight for the Stone Edge, which is fine. And it does a respectable chunk, Well, it did basically nothing, but he switches out wisely, and he goes into his Houndoom, expecting the Will-O-Wisp here. But I went for the Nightshade on the off chance he switched in something else. I could have gone for Toxic maybe, but I'm in a kind of an even tighter position here, so I'm kind of forced to switch. But he does have the Life Orb Pursuit, and that's going to do a pretty significant chunk to my Dusclops, even though I'm really bulky and such. But that puts my Dusclops in a bit of a weird situation, just because Dusclops is the biggest counter to Heracross that I have. But here comes Azumarill, and Azumarill does a lot of work in this game. He switches out into his Houndoom, and I'm not the traditional banded Azumarill. I'm actually a sub-punching Azumarill. And sub-punching Azumarill is going to put on in so much work, it's not even funny. So, but, out comes Blastoise, wanting to hopefully absorb the Aqua Jet. I think that's what he was expecting. But, after we both receive our, leftover stuff, I go for the Focus Punch, and I strangely, I'm able to focus and then punch straight away, which means I know he's using a negative priority move, either Roar or Dragon Tail, and he goes for Dragon Tail. And unlike Roar, Dragon Tail does not phase substitutes, so it doesn't even break it, which is amazing, which means I get another chance to do some work. So, Azumarill, just, and that Focus Punch did a pretty good chunk. I mean, even though it doesn't have the power of the band, the Choice Band, huge power alone boosts its attacks to incredible levels. So, but here he doesn't try to, phase me at all. He just goes for the Scald, hoping, really hoping to, to break my sub. It still does not break my sub, which is freaking mind-blowing. Boom, with a freaking Focus Punch. And that, from that range, is able to finish off that Blastoise, which is huge. Huge. So Azumarill, doing work like a boss. I approve. And out comes the Miss Magius, and no need for us to have any hazards up or anything. And he just sets up a sub, wanting to see what I'm going to do. I just go straight off for the offense and go for the Waterfall. He really doesn't know if I have the Aqua Jet at this point, and I do carry it, although I don't think I use it in this game. But the Waterfall easily takes care of its substitute, and he reveals to me, he's got leftovers, which means he most likely is a a Nasty Plot Mismagius with Shadow Ball and Nasty Plot and Substitute, and what either Hidden Power Fighting or Thunderbolt. And here he does show he has Thunderbolt, which is, I don't really care since it's behind the sub, but obviously takes up my sub since it's probably already weakened as hell anyway. But I go for that, huge power stab waterfall, and Mismagius is rather frail on the physical side, so it will not take that hit. Mismagius goes down, and Azumarill's just on this little rampage here. Oh my god, I mean, this is actually really my first time trying to focus punch Azumarill, and it's really proving to be a menace. But out comes this Cavalier, and I'm expecting this thing to be a banded Cavalier, so I don't want to stay in. I got to switch out, go into my Registeel, hoping to absorb that Mega Horn. I mean, I'm not physically defensive, but I'm more specially defensive. But I know I can take a Mega Horn fairly well. I mean, I'm hoping. And judging from this damage, I think it's big. It does a really huge chunk to me. But oh, that's why I didn't even see the crit. I didn't know that happened. Wasn't paying attention when I was actually during the battle. I didn't know that was a crit, so I should have figured it wasn't banded, and it really isn't. So, but I predict him here to go into his Houndoom. So you know what? T-Wave. So now he's got a paralyzed Houndoom, which kind of sucks for him. So I've been making some really good predictions in this game, which is not really usually. I don't usually make I make predictions, but I usually don't make them this good. So this is definitely one of my better games. I switch out here, go back into Azumarill, hoping to, I'm expecting a fire move of some sort, so I want Azumarill to semi-absorb it. And he goes for that stab overheat, which is powerful. Just, it's extremely powerful and such. And, even though it's Life Orb, it barely does 20, it's maybe like 35% at most. And, that's not a lot. So, yeah, Azumarill taking hits, delivering hits. I'm sorry for moving, but, that's how I roll. And he switches out, expecting the Aqua Jet. But I'm faster anyway, so I could have gone for Waterfall. But here I just go for the sub because I want to stay safe. And, Substitute is a bitch to deal with. So, yep, Azumarill, just doing some more work. And, I go for the Waterfall. I'm hoping Waterfall will do at least half to Escavalier. And but Escavalier really does show it has incredible bulk. It doesn't even do half to it, which is great. But I do get the flinch. I mean, it kind of matters, but it kind of doesn't at the same time. If he could have breaking my sub here, but here he shows he has leftovers. So he's probably like I don't know if he's a bulky Escavalier with Sword Stance, or he could be just an all-out offensive one of Sword Stance. But he's definitely got Sword Stance in his arsenal somewhere. But go for the second Waterfall. I don't get the flinch this time, which is fine. Goes for that Mega Horn, which is most likely Swarm boosted, and that is, of course, going to tear apart my Substitute, which, it doesn't matter at this point since this Cavalier is so weak and so slow. I don't even have to use Aqua Jet. So, that's really, we both share our leftovers recovery. He's so weak that, I could have gone for the Aqua Jet just to be a dick, but I didn't go straight for the Waterfall, because if he did switch out, Waterfall would have torn apart anything that switched in. So down goes this Cavalier, and I believe he switches out into his Heracross here. And, as I can see, Heracross is probably the most dangerous thing that threatens my team. And I do not want to take a hit. I don't want to take a Mega Horn. I don't want to take a close combat. I go into Dusclops. I'm kind of expecting the close combat since it does a lot more to my team. But, of course, I still have the Dusclops. So he very wisely goes for the Mega Horn. And I really had nothing to switch in Mega Horn to. I didn't want Tormenta taking in unnecessary damage. But, of course, Dusclops takes that pretty well. But I'm too slow, so, I'm not going to take another hit. So I'm not going to get the 6-0, unfortunately, which, sucks. I would have gone for a Pain Split here. But, I mean, some of you think, oh, yeah, I should have Will-O-Wisp, I should have Toxic it, but you know what? I really couldn't have because Heracross has Guts, and that would have proved to be a much more dangerous situation. Here he anticipates the Flare Blitz, goes into Houndoom expecting the Flare Blitz, get the Flash Fire boost. I had a feeling it was going to switch out, and me being Scarlet, I go for that Earthquake, and down goes Houndoom. Another great prediction, even though it was fairly obvious because, Houndoom could have done a little bit more work. But out he sends his last, which is his Heracross. And, I don't want Heracross taking a close combat. I don't want Tormenta taking a close combat. I don't want him taking a Stone Edge. I expected the close combat since it, it would have done the most work on my team. But he goes for Stone Edge, but it misses. And that is great, and, he tries to go for it again. I don't care if Zapdos dies because Tormenta can revenge kill it, but it misses again. So the Hexgods kind of bite him here. Didn't matter at all, but, it turned a most likely 4-0 into a 5-0. So, but I go for the Heat Wave. It actually surprisingly kills. I expected maybe it to live a smidgen or so, but it actually does kill, which is great, and that'll be the game, folks. So it was a really good game, and I just wanted to showcase the power of this UU team, and I got a 5-0 off of it. So just it's a great synergetic team, and if you want movesets, feel free to message me, PM me. I can give you the team or something, but if not, just drool and be in total amazement and all that fun stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Like, comment, sub, and we'll talk to you later, guys.